by Burnley in the box. Half-time, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at the Emirates, it's Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. It was a rip-roaring start to this game. Maitland-Niles had a low shot saved brilliantly by Joe Hart. Then down the other end, Westwood was denied well by Leno down to his right-hand side. El Neni then had a free header at the back post, which hit the Burnley defender and was eventually scrambled off the line. Arsenal did score the only goal of the first 45 on the 14th minute. Aubameyang with a lovely outside of the right-footed strike into the bottom right corner. That was after it was poor defensive work by Burnley in the box. Half-time, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at the Emirates, it's Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. It was a rip-roaring start to this game. Maitland-Niles had a low shot saved brilliantly by Joe Hart. Then down the other end, Westwood was denied well by Leno down to his right-hand side. El Neni then had a free header at the back post, which hit the Burnley defender and was eventually scrambled off the line. Arsenal did score the only goal of the first 45 on the 14th minute. Aubameyang with a lovely outside of the right-footed strike into the bottom right corner. That was after it was poor defensive work by Burnley in the box. Half-time, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at the Emirates, it's Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. It was a rip-roaring start to this game. Maitland-Niles had a low shot saved brilliantly by Joe Hart. Then down the other end, Westwood was denied well by Leno down to his right-hand side. But a very warm welcome back to our off-tube independent studio coverage of this Premier League clash. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0 at the break. The 14th minute strike from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is separating the two sides, and probably say that it was a deserved lead for the Gunners. Both defences were pretty shaky, but Arsenal just looked that little bit more threatening. But an early chance now for Burnley to come forward. Leno comes charging outside of his box and wins the ball with his head. He had to stoop low there to try and beat Wood to it, who did have his sort of right foot up there. And it is going to be a free kick to Arsenal, potentially a yellow card as well. Well, he actually boots him in the stomach, so yeah, I think that's got to be a yellow card.
Yeah, I think it has. I don't think there's any doubt about it, to be honest. It's good goalkeeping from Leno. Makes the decision as early as he possibly can, gets across and wins the header. Doesn't particularly get the sort of leverage on the header that he wanted. It went straight to a Burnley man, and if there hadn't have been the foul, perhaps he'd have been in trouble. But he does well, gets himself across there. It's brave goalkeeping as well. Got Petr Cech off the bench, getting a bit excited that he might be coming on, but he seems okay now. And I don't know whether he has booked Chris Wood, to be honest. I think he's just perhaps had a chat with him. I didn't see a yellow card come out there. Yeah,
I mean, I can understand as well why he hasn't booked him, because he's only got his eyes for the ball, and then he's suddenly Leno comes charging out the corner of his left eye, and he can't really stop himself from trying to get it with his right foot. But a bright start to the second half anyway for Burnley, trying that long ball over the top. Wood has actually gone in the book, that should be confirmed. So both strikers are booked for Burnley, both Wood and Barnes. Socrates is booked for Arsenal as Burnley coming forward. Low ball into the box is cleared away by that man Socrates. Will be a throw to the Clarets teams for the second half. Leno in goal for Arsenal. Kolasinac, Lichtsteiner, Socrates and Maitland-Niles at the back. Xhaka, El Neni, Guendouzi, Ozil the skipper, Aubameyang and Lacazette as Burnley play a long ball forward down the right hand side. It's headed back down the line, then it's whipped in. A good looking ball as well towards the far post there. Westwood with the delivery, and that's poor defending by Arsenal as they nearly give it away, but El Neni gets a foot in somehow, and Guendouzi tries to create an attack down the left hand side, and it's good play as well as Kolasinac is steaming forward. He plays a little ball in field, and Arsenal have got numbers now. Lacazette into the box. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, right-footed strike into the back of the net, and Aubameyang just like that has scored his second. Arsenal have got their second as well. It was a quick counter-attack by the Gunners. Burnley all over the shop at the back. That could be game over.
Well, it's so similar to what we saw 2 minutes into the first half. Both sides having a go end-to-end. And there, Burnley just caught out completely. It's a really good ball from Guendouzi initially. This is after Arsenal very nearly put themselves in trouble. Guendouzi just looks up, sees that run of Kolasinac. I think perhaps Tarkowski has to be a bit braver. Go across, wipe him out, do something. Take him out the game if you have to. He doesn't. He allows the move to continue, and it's an unerring finish from Aubameyang. I think it takes a nick off the defender on the way, but a good finish nonetheless, and probably game over now.
Well, this one could all be over. It's Arsenal 2, Burnley 0. The Gunners are scoring their second of the game 3 minutes after the restart, and it's the second of the match for Aubameyang as well. It was a quick counter-attack by Arsenal, who were under the cosh at the start of this second half. Burnley with a bit of pressure, but there's a ball played down the left-hand side to Kolasinac. He then puts it in field to Lacazette, who then ships it into the box to Aubameyang, who gets it onto his right foot, smashes it at the near post there, takes a little flick off the defender on the way through, but it was going on target anyway. No chance for Joe Hart. Too much power on the shot, and Aubameyang has a second, as do Arsenal. It's Arsenal 2, Burnley 0.
And again, I think the frustrating thing from a Burnley perspective is how easy the whole thing was. As I said before, I think that Tarkowski should be going across and doing more than he did. He seemed to ease off, didn't want to go and put the challenge in. Why not? Why not go through? Make that challenge. Take him out of the game. Don't allow him to get himself into that position. But he did. He allowed him to get himself through. Good ball from Lacazette. Initially, it looked as though the ball was perhaps... It was right to the feet of Aubameyang, which meant that he then had to he had to create himself some space, try and get himself through into a better position. But it was good play and just devastating from Arsenal, really. Aubameyang's 12th goal of the season in the league, and exactly what they will have wanted at the start of this second half. Yeah,
it just eases the nerves, doesn't it? Gives them a little bit of a cushion now to play with. But 4 goals in his last 2 appearances against Burnley for Aubameyang, so he certainly likes going up against the Clarets. A lot of work to do now for the away side to get anything out of this game. Goal difference wise, they'll be going on to -20 now after this one. If it stays the same, that is, there they could ship some more. That'll be the second worst defensive record in the Premier League this season in terms of goal difference wise. For a team that were built around defence last season, have suddenly just lost what they were about.
Yeah, a team that ultimately, we can't forget, got European football last season. You know, they were in Europe beginning of this term, and it has all completely crumbled. Them going to 5 at the back, I think, ultimately is costing them. The midfield, I don't think, are doing enough defensively to help out. There's been, in the first half, there were gaps. You'd have the back 5, the 3 in midfield, and huge spaces between the 2. So when Arsenal would counter-attack, the midfield was nowhere to be seen because they're trying to support the strikers. So it's completely cost them. It really has, and it's a shame because Sean Dyche, you know, he's a good manager. He's built his sort of career at Burnley around a solid defensive unit and strikers that are efficient. This season we've seen nothing of either of those qualities. Yeah,
I'd agree. I think January's going to be a very important window for Burnley. They need to spend some money, need to bring in some players, because for a team that had to go through the qualifying rounds of the Europa League and eventually lost in the playoff round, they didn't add enough bodies in there. Usually teams go into the Europa League and they add loads of different players in. I mean, Fulham brought 12 up, didn't work for them. Maybe that was too many, but you'd have expected maybe 6 new players to come through the door. I think it was only 3 came through the door. There was Ben Gibson, who's on the bench, but he's had his injury problems. Matej Vidra came in as well, and there was Joe Hart, and that was it. They didn't have any sort of creativity coming.
No, and when you look at the players that are missing as well at the moment that are injured, Stefan Defoe being in and out, Goodmanson having a knock, he's been massive for them. Robbie Brady had a good season last year until he got injured. Aaron Lennon's a decent player. So they're all good players, but you take Defoe out of that, and that's your 3 wide players. That's your width. So you're asking your fullbacks to go up and do it, which creates more gaps in your defence. And we've seen Ben Mee get caught a couple of times on the left-hand side. So they're missing players, but I think in general they are lacking quality. And you can see today, they're lacking confidence. Last year they were confident they'd go anywhere and think, you know what, we can get a result. At the moment, they don't look like that. They look an absolute shell of the team that we saw last term.
Yeah, they do, and I certainly agree with that. Don't worry while we're talking about Burnley squad, because their chances of staying up or anything, because there's not a lot happening in the game as things stand. The Gunners are just controlling it now, having taken that 2-goal cushion. I mean, Burnley's next games, they're not easy. They've got Everton at home on Boxing Day. They then have West Ham at home, so it's back-to-back home games. But Everton and West Ham, they're no gimmies. They're pushing towards the sort of top 6-7 places this season. They then have an absolutely massive game on the 2nd of January away at Huddersfield, so that could be absolutely crucial, you'd feel, and obviously that'll be into the January window as well. So if they could potentially get 2 points from the Everton-West Ham games, but I don't even think they'll get that.
No, I mean, I said it in the first half, but 1 win since the 30th of September is ridiculous for a side that got themselves a European spot last year. Again, Everton really tough, West Ham really tough. Huddersfield away is a tough game. You know, even though they've not been great this season, it's still a tough game. And then you look at Barnsley in the FA Cup, and even then, that's a game that could perhaps give them a bit of confidence. It could also be a huge distraction, and the last thing that they need. But it could give them that little bit of something, and then play Fulham after that at home. So, you know, if you look at Premier League matches, Huddersfield and Fulham as 2 big games to start the year off. After that,
yeah,
it gets tough. It gets tough.
Who knows, really? As you know, they could find themselves maybe cut adrift possibly from the teams above them. I mean, it can often happen across the festive period. If 2 teams around you maybe pick up 3 wins in a row, and suddenly that catapults them up the table. And there's a free kick given against Lacazette, rather harshly actually. Tarkowski kind of just fell to the floor, and he knew he was under pressure, but Burnley managed to go down the other end, so there will be a free kick for them further down. Joe Hart with the cap on today, didn't have that in the first half. Must have been a bit of sunshine in his eyes. It does look like actually it is shining quite brightly towards him. But this is a chance for Burnley though. Free kick around, what, 30ish yards out. This is where they could maybe grab one back.
Yeah, they'd fancy it, but they've got to get this ball right. Arsenal's defensive line is really, really high, maybe 4 or 5 yards from the edge of their own penalty area, so it's not going to be easy, but if they get this ball right, get Wood and Barnes on the end of this, they could well get something.
Could indeed. It'll be Westwood to, not Westwood to whip it in. Taylor then with the low ball into the box. There's an opportunity now. Oh, and it's been cleared behind, and what an opportunity for the Clarets. Well, the defensive line from Arsenal again did not work at all, but Chris Wood should be scoring.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff really. I mean,
wow,
Wood's offside.
They're all offside.
So
about 4 of them are offside.
We talk about the defensive line of Arsenal, but that is shocking from the assistant referee, and I tell you, if they score from this corner, there's going to be some trouble. It's
whipped in high towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed away. I have no idea how the linesman has not spotted that. He's got one of 4 players. There's a potential push in the box, but the referee waves that one away. We'll get Jack's thoughts on that in a moment, as Arsenal just trying to play the ball out from the back, and then Guendouzi goes down. He's saying he was fouled by Barnes. Barnes then had a little kick at Guendouzi. I think he's kicked the ball. He may not have heard the whistle, but I tell you what, Ashley Barnes needs to quiet down. He's given a free kick to Burnley because he's saying Guendouzi handled the ball because he hadn't given a free kick.
What a weird couple of minutes that's been from a standpoint of the officials in terms of penalty claim, and I use it in inverted commas. As we just see Barnes, yeah, he does just try and kick the ball away from Guendouzi, to be fair to him. But the penalty, I don't think is a penalty. Long is sort of leaning forward as he's backing in towards Socrates, who gives him the very slightest push, and he feels it and just goes down. I think the referee's got that right. I don't think there's enough contact to give anything, and he wasn't in the air. It wasn't like he's offset his balance or something like that. But Barnes does need to be careful. He can't be giving excuses like and holding his stomach or whatever, you know, as we do see in modern football, for the referee to all of a sudden have a decision to make. There's no point in putting yourself in that position, and that's what he's doing. He's allowing that to happen. Yeah,
and you're away from home as well, so the fans are straight away going to get on your back if you do something like that, and basically bay for the referee to give a second yellow. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Barnes maybe replaced by a Sam Vaux. That's a pen claim again, and the referee waves it away. Oh, I'm not sure again. I think that would be harsh, but I'm not sure. Your thoughts, Jack?
I tell you, Kevin Friend needs to calm this game down. We're now seeing Guendouzi getting booked for a silly foul, just flies in to a challenge. The game's at boiling point. Penalty claim, what, number 3 in the space of 3 or 4 minutes. My immediate reaction was, I thought it was a foul. I'd like to see the replay. The fact that we've not seen a replay perhaps tells you the story. But my immediate reaction is that was a foul, but I'd need to see it again to make a proper decision on it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I thought maybe goes down a little easy, but yeah, we haven't seen a replay yet. It's because we've seen a second sub for Arsenal, Mohamed El Neni, who myself and Jack don't think have had a great game. He's been replaced, and Lucas Torreira has come on there, and he definitely will shore things up a little bit for Arsenal. He's been a great summer signing. Arsenal are going to come forward now. There could be another yellow card after this when the play ends, as Aubameyang comes forward down the left. He's then chopped down this time by me. That's going to be a booking for the Burnley skipper. I mean, this is getting out of hand.
It's getting ridiculous, isn't it? It reminds me of the Chelsea-Tottenham game a couple of years ago, where it was just challenge after challenge after challenge and card after card after card, and it's ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Friend goes back to potentially have a conversation about the Guendouzi challenge. That is naughty from Cork. He steps down onto the top of Guendouzi's foot. Me then does what he needs to. You know, he steps across, seeing that Aubameyang's breaking towards goal on a hat-trick, you do what you have to do. Perhaps what Tarkowski didn't do. I think Cork has been booked, actually. Kevin Friend did show a yellow card to Jack Cork. Did Ben Mee go into the book as well?
Yeah, Mee's in as well. Cork's in as well.
So that's
Wood
their
and
fourth.
Barnes.
That's their fourth. One more and they get a fine from the FA for controlling players. It's all just boiling. It really is. It looked like it was going to happen at the end of the first half when we saw the Barnes and Socrates exchange, but it's very strange to see this in a game like this between two teams so far apart.
It's all come down to a free kick now for Arsenal after all of that. Torreira looks like he's going to whip this one in. Ozil standing over it as well, though. I think maybe favour the right foot for me, but we'll wait and see. Referee blows his whistle, and it is Torreira that steps up right-footed. He goes for goal and gets it awfully wrong. Yeah,
not the worst of efforts. He tries to almost knuckleball it towards that top left-hand corner. Goalkeeper's side. It has to be something really special or a real goalkeeping mishap in order to score goalkeeper's side from a free kick. So does what he needs to as Burnley take a free kick quickly.
They do indeed. It's towards the edge of the area. They play it back out to the left now. Taylor swings a high ball in. It's dreadful from Taylor. It really, really is. He's had a few like that in the game where he's just gone for a high ball towards a far post and that hasn't worked. Now Arsenal are trying to break quickly. It's Lacazette. He's got the overlapping run from Ozil. He does find the German eventually. Can he get there before Tarkowski? He can't. That one's just ushered behind and it will be a goal kick there. But certainly Arsenal are upping the ante when they try and come forward. Well, it's still Arsenal 2, Burnley 0, but this game again is sort of potentially going to boil over. There's been a lot of yellow cards dished out. Jack Cork's gone in the book for Burnley, so has Ben Mee. You've had Guendouzi go in for Arsenal in the second half. Wood's gone in the book as well, and there's some naughty challenges going in. There's been a couple penalty shouts, one for Burnley when Kolasinac maybe had a little push on long, goes down easily though nothing given. Then Arsenal, Lacazette looked like he was maybe caught just inside the area, but again the referee waves it away. There's also a chance of Wood, free kick played in, should have scored, miscontrolled it, cleared behind. If he did score though it would have been controversial as he was way offside.
So Burnley have got a free kick here. Bardsley and Westwood stepping over it. Westwood with both hands in the air. It's only midway inside the Arsenal half. Lofted towards the back post. Mee able to bring it down, control it inside the penalty area. Rolls it back to Westwood. Now Bardsley has it out on the right. He again floats the ball in towards the back post. It's headed down by Mee. Barnes unable to get the shot off. Arsenal unable to clear the lines. May well fall for Barnes, who lashes it home. And Burnley have got themselves back in the game. Strong finish from Ashley Barnes, stepping into it, firing it past Leno, who had absolutely no chance. Arsenal at 6s and 7s, unable to clear the lines from the free kick. Arsenal 2, Burnley 1.
There may be some hope in this game for Burnley yet because they've just pulled one back. It is a goal of the scrappiest of fashion. Arsenal had about 3 chances to clear their lines. It's a long ball into the box there. They nod it down there. It's a good nod down actually by Mee. Barnes then gets the initial shot away. Takes a couple deflections. Arsenal then can't clear the lines when there's a few players around it. Eventually it breaks to Barnes at the far post, who just lashes it low and hard into the back of the net with his right foot. There's absolutely no chance for Leno, the goalkeeper. And suddenly, out of nothing, the Clarets are back in this one. It's Arsenal 2, Burnley 1.
Yeah, it's game on, isn't it, now, as Lacazette has it down by the right corner flag. Knocks it backwards to Maitland-Niles, who just rolls the ball back to Guendouzi. Now out towards the left-hand side. Plays a 1-2 with Kolasinac. Little step over from Guendouzi, back onto his right boot. Goes backwards to Aubameyang. Looking to try and commit Westwood and Cork, who've gone across to deal with the man who's got both of Arsenal's goals. And Arsenal, really, I think for Arsenal now, it may well be a sort of shot of adrenaline for them, something to make them go, right, this game isn't over, we need to sort ourselves out and actually create a little bit more, because to be fair to them, they've got themselves the 2 goals but perhaps haven't created as many chances as they would have liked or tested hard as much, and now there's only a goal in it. There's 35 minutes left, 25 minutes left, sorry, if I can get my maths right, and you know, it's tight. It's not as easy as perhaps it was looking 5 minutes ago.
No, I mean, and that's the danger, isn't it? They often say 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline because you can often get a little bit complacent, and Burnley pulled them back in it, and it's, I mean, it's so scrappy, the goal, and it's such poor defensive work from Arsenal not to get the ball away initially. I mean, they lose the first header, they lose then getting the ball when it drops down, they then mistime their clearances twice, and eventually Barnes is free, unmarked around 7 yards out, and he's allowed to just lash it home there with a free shot at goal. So certainly this isn't over, and it will just inspire Burnley now to try and come forward themselves, and they'll think to themselves, actually, we could get something from this game now, and they're just looking ever so more confident in possession. Just as I say that, that's a really poor crossfield ball. Aubameyang then is fouled, but Lacazette has possession. Now it's Kolasinac bursts into the penalty area, tries to square it back to Lacazette. He just can't control it though, but Burnley don't clear the lines, and eventually it's scrambled clear out to the left-hand side for Taylor, who nicks it off the Arsenal man, and it's a throw for Burnley. I mean, this is, I mean, do not watch this if you're wanting to learn how to defend. I mean, it's so poor.
Yeah, it's not a defensive display from either side for a football purist, is it? I mean, to be fair, good move from Arsenal. Kolasinac has pulled back just behind Lacazette, who tried to drag it round from behind him. But again, neither defence wants to just lash the ball away. I know it's not the modern way of playing football, but get rid of it in a situation
8 yards
like that.
out, yeah.
Get rid of the ball. You know, you're on the edge of your own 6-yard box. Just clear it. So yeah, it's so bizarre because both teams have been culpable of it. It's not like it's just Arsenal doing it or just Burnley doing it. Both of them have put themselves in very compromising positions due to a reluctance to just lash the ball away.
Yeah, that was smacked of a no left foot Jack Cork in that situation, because when he gets it away from Lacazette, he actually tries to flick it with the outside of his right foot and then clear it with his right foot, and you think, if you just put your left foot through that one, that's cleared away straight away. As Arsenal come forward down the left now, that goal back for Burnley does seem to have sparked the Gunners into life as Aubameyang tries to put a cross in, and that's deflected behind off long, will be a corner kick.
And that what you just said there, that it sparked them into action, is the difference between Arsenal under Unai Emery and Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. Because under Arsene Wenger, they concede in that sort of position, or a recent Arsene Wenger, let's say, they concede 2-1 at home, they'd begin to fold, and you know, it'd be really nervy and it'd be really horrible from an Arsenal's fans' perspective, in the way that they would invite pressure, the other team would keep going at them. Not this season. This season, Arsenal pegged back ever so slightly, and they want to go and get themselves that next goal. They want to go and push themselves out, which shows that progression that Unai Emery has finally installed a bit of, you know, that mental solidity to go out there and get themselves that winner.
Yeah, I would agree with that, as Ozil has possession on the left after a short corner was played. Xhaka back to Ozil, and he flicks one back further in field towards Guendouzi, who is unmarked, has loads of time and space. Finds Xhaka again, and he'll just play it back into his own half. So just being patient. I mean, it's towards Leno, who is midway through his own half. Now he just plays a long ball upfield with his right foot. It should be easily defended, and it is by Bardsley. Back to the goalkeeper Hart. So we've gone over the midway point of this second half. 68 minutes played. Arsenal 2, Burnley 1, and a few maybe anxious faces in the home crowd. Jack will take you through to full time.
Yeah, Joe Hart lashed the ball forward then for Burnley. We saw actually as the ball went through to the goalkeeper, it was a long ball from the Arsenal goalkeeper Leno, and Lacazette just showing his frustration, flinging his arms up in the air with the fact that perhaps his side had a corner, then ended up playing the ball right the way back to Leno, who lashed a long ball over the top of everybody. Just a